Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion baseball. This is Tim Coet on the call as we come to you live from Day 2 of the Massachusetts Department State Championship here in the town of Milford. The Elite 8 teams in the state of Massachusetts for Legion baseball convening here once again for the second straight day of competition. And tonight in this evening matchup, your Milford Post 59 team takes on a very tough customer here tonight in Rockland Post 147. Both of these teams coming off of victories on day 1 of the tournament, so into the winner's bracket for this day 2 of tournament play. Already another full day of tournament play is almost in the books. We'll start to get you caught up on all of the action from throughout this day of tournament action as our broadcast goes on, as our Elite 8 teams in the state have been shaved down to 6 with 2 eliminations earlier on in the day today. We'll get you all of that information as our broadcast goes along here today. But in the meantime, I want to welcome in all of our viewers tuning into this coverage live, whether you're tuned into us locally here in Milford via our educational channel or Verizon HD 2140, or if you're streaming us for the first time, perhaps down in Rockland, via milfordtv.net or our Milford TV app. We're so pleased to have you with us for this coverage. It has been a great start to this tournament, and we are looking forward to another excellent matchup here tonight as Milford takes on Rockland. The coin flip determining home and road teams before this game tonight, and once again, it is Milford serving as the road team, so we'll see if some luck carries over for Milford from last night. They served as the road team against Morissette Post 294 last night, and Milford, of course, walked away with a 2-0 victory in that game. Now, I should point out that game is available for streaming right now over on our video on demand site. So if you missed night 1 of the tournament between Milford and Morissette, you can check that out anytime over at vod.milfordtv.net. But both of these teams turn the page for night 2 of the tournament. And before we get the first pitch here in the top of the first inning, let's bring you tonight's starting lineups. We'll start with the visitors, which for tonight, once again, is Milford Post 59. Leading it off at shortstop is Nick Paharic. The left fielder, Scott Paliuka, bats second, with the starting pitcher, Evan Cornelius, batting third. Dante Pavone is your cleanup hitter and first baseman, with Cam Jarrett playing second base and batting fifth. Noah Curley plays right field and bats sixth, with Andrew Gaughan batting seventh and playing third base. The catcher, Keith Lee, bats eighth, and in the ninth spot is the center fielder, Andrew Dennison. And for Rockland Post 147, their starting lineup looks like this. Jeremy Ayward leads it off at second base. Henry Rogers is your third baseman, batting second, with Sean Boostrom, the center fielder, batting third. Spencer Merrick is the catcher and cleanup hitter, with Jake Schulte, the right fielder, batting fifth. Tad Kavanaugh plays left field and bats sixth, with Ian White, the shortstop, batting seventh. Batting eighth and playing first base is Shane Daly, and in the ninth spot is tonight's starting pitcher for Rockland, Aiden O'Donnell. Milford, of course, under the direction of their head coach, Steve DeVito. Rockland under the direction of head coach Jay Costantino and manager Tom Roach. And it is time for baseball here in Milford. Post 59 sporting their yellow uniform tops for this game tonight. Rockland in the blue and red uniform tops with the white uniform pants. It is Aiden O'Donnell, the starting pitcher, the right-hander on the pitching rubber, getting set to face off against Milford leadoff batter Nick Paharic. Still plenty of sunshine splashing across the field as we're getting this one underway just after 7 p.m. And first pitch swinging, Nick Paharic sends this one in the air out to left center field. Ranging over is the center fielder, Boostrom. Almost into straightaway left, as the wind might have taken that pitch a little bit. But one pitch and Nick Paharic is retired. Aiden O'Donnell, the right-handed starter for Post 147. A good start to the tournament for Rockland, as they walked away with an 8-4 victory over Greenfield in the second game of competition yesterday, earning their spot in the winner's bracket. Scott Paliuka at the plate right now with a no-ball, 1-strike count. This pitch grounded foul just off of the on-deck area for Milford. Defensively for Rockland, it is Spencer Merrick behind the plate, Henry Rogers at third, Ian White at short, Jeremy Ayward at second, and Shane Daly at first. Left to right in the outfield, Tad Kavanaugh, Sean Boostrom, and Jake Schulte. No balls and 2 strikes the count on the Milford left fielder. Here is the pitch, and that misses for a ball. Rockland, the champion of District 10, to earn their spot in this year's state tournament. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and it's slapped on the ground. It gets underneath the pitcher's foot. It's going to roll out into center field for a 1-out base hit. It looked like O'Donnell might have kicked at that ball to try to stop its progress, but sneaking through the infield, and Paliuka is aboard with a single. And so that will bring up Evan Cornelius. It was a very tight pitcher's duel during the ball game last night against Morissette, but Cornelius was certainly one of the offensive heroes, the only player in the game to have a multi-hit night. He went 2 for 4 with a key RBI single in the 5th inning that gave Milford a 2-0 lead. They went on to win by that final score. Cornelius takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. Plenty of fans on hand for this evening matchup. This game getting underway right on time, thanks in part to a quick end to the game directly before this one, which was another winner's bracket game between Beverly and Franklin. And Franklin came out roaring in the game, ended up earning a mercy rule victory in just 5 innings. Their offense really exploded in the middle innings of that game to turn it into a runaway. So that allowed the Parks Department plenty of time to turn over the field and get this game going right at 7. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Cornelius, and that is in for a strike. Looked to be a bit low, but O'Donnell getting the benefit of the call. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Cornelius. Still the RBI leader overall on this 2022 Legion campaign for Milford. Paliuka a lead off of first base. And the pitch is offered at and sent past the dive of Rogers at third base down the left field line. It's a base hit for Cornelius. Paliuka moves up to second base and holds there. Back-to-back base hits for Milford. And they're in business here in the top of the first. Still an unusual situation for Milford to serve as the road team on their home field, but getting a little bit more accustomed to it as they're doing it now on the 2nd consecutive night. And an opportunity perhaps for Milford to give themselves a lead here before they make their way out onto the field for the first time, something they don't get to do here very often. Dante Pavone at the plate now with a couple of runners on and 1 down. He lets that first pitch go for a strike. These Milford fans getting energized around the ballpark, sensing the possibility of a first inning rally. A look to the runners for O'Donnell, continuing to peer down to second base, now fires to the plate. And Pavone loops it foul over towards the third base dugout. Dante on the season batting .321. He has 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run on the season to go along with 16 runs batted in. He's batted .364 with runners in scoring position. He has one there now with Paliuka at second base and also Cornelius over at first, but down in an 0-2 hole. O'Donnell now from the stretch, leaves it high. Milford getting loud out of the first base dugout. That's been a noticeable positive for Milford this season. They have been energized in the dugout all season long, and a lot of times it has been Mario Lee leading those cheers from the dugout, and maybe a little extra energy for Mario Lee after a phenomenal pitching performance last night. For those who did not tune into the game, Mario Lee got the start on night 1 of tournament play, and all he did was go out there and pitch a complete game 4-hit shutout. Phenomenal stuff all night long out of Lee. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Pavone. Here's the pitch. That's in the dirt, blocked out in front. The runner takes off for third base, a good throw down, and he is out at third base. Paliuka took the chance. He saw that ball in the dirt and immediately broke and gets a couple of words from his head coach right over there in the third base coach's box after the play. Not a great decision for Paliuka at second base. That ball did not get far away from Spencer Merrick at all, and he made a great throw down to third base, and that drastically changes the complexion of this first inning now. Now just a runner at first base for Milford with 2 outs and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Pavone. It's the second straight game that Milford has made a base running error in the first inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it is popped up foul. That will make its way out of play. Should the inning continue, we would see the second baseman Cam Jarrett. Cornelius, the lone base runner, sidestepping out to a lead at first. O'Donnell keeping an eye over in that direction. Now comes home, and another pitch in the dirt, blocked out in front again by the catcher Merrick. Last night it was caught stealing, or I beg your pardon, a double play in the first inning that ended up serving as a base running play that limited Milford's productivity. Cornelius taking off here on a little chopper in front of the plate. The catcher spins around, throws wildly to first. It gets down the right field line. Cornelius moves up to third. Pavone will trot down to second base. And did that ball go off the playing surface? Right now being walked back in by Shane Daly.
Now at the plate, number 6.
And so Milford getting a break there. An accurate throw would have ended the inning, but that throw got past the first baseman Daly. And so Evan Cornelius ends up at third base. And so we'll see what the ultimate ruling is. We'll put it in the books as a single and an E2 on the throw that allowed the runners to advance. Called strike dealt into Cam Jarrett. Drove a double into the right center field gap for his only hit in the ball game last night, but it was a big one as it set the table for Milford to take their first lead of the night. Batting here with 2 runners in scoring position. Lets that pitch go in the dirt. It misses for a ball. On this 2022 season, Cam Jarrett has driven in 7 2-out RBI. So he has been good in these situations. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down, still in the top of the first. And a 1-1 pitch on the way. That drops in for a called strike. 1-2 the count. A lot of little momentum swings just within this top of the first inning. A chance for O'Donnell to wriggle out of danger. He can deal in a strike. Jarrett looking for a hit that could bring in 2 runs. Here is the 1-2 pitch, and it's low. Spencer Merrick has not had an easy time behind the plate in this inning. He's had to block several balls in the dirt. That time was able to keep a clean handle on that pitch that was low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Donnell accepts the sign. Here's the pitch, and it is lifted out to right field. Over towards the line now goes Jake Schulte. He will make the catch, and that out will end the inning. So opportunity knocking for Milford in this top of the first inning, but they failed to score. They will strand 2 runners in scoring position. And so after half an inning of play, it is scoreless here. We'll see Rockland take their first swings of the game. When we come back next, stay with the coverage here on Milford TV. Milford had 3 hits in that top half of the first inning, but they cannot strike on the scoreboard. So it is scoreless now as Rockland Post 147 comes to the plate, and they will do so against the Milford starting pitcher, Evan Cornelius. This is Evan's 8th appearance on the pitcher's mound in 2022, his 7th start. He's pitched 32 and a third innings so far on the season, has a record of 3-3. And in those 32 and a third innings, Evan has allowed 30 hits, 18 runs, 14 of them earned. He has struck out 34, walked 10. On the season has a 3.03 ERA, I should say, and opposing hitters batting .238 against Cornelius. Here, a ball on the ground to third base. Diving play by the bag for Andrew Gaughan. Gets to his feet and fires to first base in time to retire the Rockland leadoff batter, Jeremy Ayward. Milford played outstanding defense throughout the regular season, and they have continued to bring that high caliber of defense here to the state tournament. And Andrew Gaughan in particular made a sensational play behind the third base bag last night. He makes another excellent play down that third base line to open up this bottom of the first inning, as Jeremy Ayward, the leadoff batter for Rockland, is retired. Henry Rogers, the third baseman, now at the plate with a 1-ball and no strike count. And now a chopper towards the first base line. Cornelius grabs it, underhand toss to first base, and Rogers is quickly out number 2. That one goes 1-3. Defensively for post 59, it is Keith Lee behind the plate, Andrew Gaughan at third, Nick Paharic at short, Cam Jarrett at second, and Dante Pavone at first. Left to right in the outfield, Scott Paliuka, Andrew Dennison, and Noah Curley. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first inning on just 4 pitches for Cornelius so far, as now the center fielder Sean Boostrom comes to the plate. He takes a first pitch strike. Wave and a miss. Boostrom could not catch up to that fastball, and it is quickly 0-2. The next pitch, that one just a little bit low. Light breeze blowing in towards home plate here early on in the ball game, as this pitch is chopped foul, rolling over towards the third base dugout. It stays a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Another 1-2, and it is an awkward swing and a miss as Boostrom chased a pitch well up and out of the strike zone. First strikeout for Cornelius, and it finishes off a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. So neither side can score here in the first. We'll move right on to inning number 2 here on day 2 of this Massachusetts Legion State Tournament. It's scoreless between Milford and Rockland here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV. Moving on to the the top half of inning number 2. Scoreless between Milford Post 59 and Rockland Post 147. Tim Coet here on the call, along with another outstanding crew from Milford TV. We've beefed up our crew for this game here tonight. Jack Marino once again directing, and on cameras tonight we have Scott Crisafulli and Jerry Miglita. Noah Curley leading off the top half of the second inning for Post 59. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. Aiden O'Donnell with the pitch, and this is laced down the first base line. A fair ball rolling into foul territory and right. Extra bases for Curley. Now digging for second base, and he's going to just beat the throw with a head-first slide. And Curley is aboard with a leadoff double. Noah Curley could smell double right out of the box. He hustled down the line and was able to just get into second base ahead of the throw. It was a nice job by Schulte out in right field to get that ball back in quickly. But a leadoff extra base hit, and Milford now with another runner in scoring position. They stranded 2 runners on last inning. Andrew Gahn now at the plate. He takes the pitch inside. Milford in the game last night locked in a real pitcher's duel with Morissette, ended up playing some small ball through the middle innings. A couple of sacrifice bunt plays to push runners into scoring position. It paid dividends, allowing them to scratch those 2 runs across for the victory. No indication of a bunt on the first pitch to Gahn. Now this one comes up high, and a nice stab by Spencer Merrick behind the plate. And it's a 2-ball, no strike count. Andrew Gahn in the game last night reached base twice via walks. Officially was 0 for 1 in the game. And now is going to take that one off the left shoulder. So a hit by pitch sends Gahn down to first, and the first 2 batters have reached here for Milford in the second. A lot of traffic on the base paths early here for Milford. And now Keith Lee standing in. Keith last night had a strikeout, a walk, and then ended up lining into a double play in the 6th inning that was more of a product of some base running issues for Milford. And he takes a pitch up and in, and right now the command has faltered for O'Donnell. A lot of these pitches coming up and in on Milford batters. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it's a chopper hit slowly to shortstop. They will flip to second base, and no out there as the ball was juggled, and everyone's going to be safe. It might have been the safer play to just send that throw onto first base. It was very slow developing as Ian White came in on that ball. Tried to shuffle a quick throw over to second base, but Aylward could not handle it. And as a result, now Milford has the bases loaded with nobody out, and we will have a full conference now on the pitcher's mound for Rockland. So that play will go in the books as a fielder's choice. And the error should go on the throw there, so it should be an E6. And so that's already the 2nd error for Rockland. So it is now Noah Curley at third base, Andrew Gahn at second, Keith Lee at first, and the number 9 batter, Andrew Dennison, at the plate. And Milford gifted with a golden opportunity to get themselves on the scoreboard here in the top of the 2nd. Breeze continues to blow in towards the hitter. First pitch now to Dennison is chopped back to the pitcher's mound. O'Donnell will throw to the plate to get an out there. That's all they will get. A fortunate play there for Rockland on a comebacker to the mound. The force play at the plate cuts down Noah Curley. Dennison reaches on the fielder's choice. So the base is reloaded now with 1 out. And so Rockland will keep the infield in tight at the corners. They sink back to double play depth up the middle. As we go back up to the top spot in the order, Nick Paharic, who is 0 for 1 with a fly out. He takes the first pitch on the inside corner for strike 1. Long hesitation here for Aidan O'Donnell. Now the pitch, and that is low for ball 1. Nick Paharic in the game yesterday reached base twice, once on a walk and once on a single, scored one of Milford's 2 runs. About to see a 1-1 pitch here with the bases loaded. Here it comes, and it's sent down the third base line. That kicks foul. And Andrew Gaughan jumping out of the way, and it is a 1-ball, 2-strike count now on Paharic. Batting average for Paharic coming into the game today at .283. Now the 1-2 pitch, it is a pop-up out behind third base, now into foul territory, getting into that breeze, but a good job by Henry Rogers to stay with it in foul ground. He makes the catch. And Milford now in real danger of squandering this opportunity. They had the bases loaded with nobody out. They remain loaded now with 2 down, and so far, no runs have crossed the plate. And it'll take something now from Scott Paliuka. Scott singled in his first at-bat last inning, but then was thrown out on an attempted steal of third base on a pitch that was in the dirt. Lets that first pitch go for a ball.
Don't leave him there, Paul. Let's go.
Paliuka with a batting average on the season of .287. And now too much time taken by O'Donnell. Paliuka backs out of the box.
Good job, Paul. Your time.
Gone at third. He was hit by a pitch. Keith Lee at second base and Andrew Denizen at first, both reached on fielder's choice plays. 35 pitches so far in the outing for O'Donnell. Trying to get out of a big-time jam. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that drops low for ball 2. Evan Cornelius lurking in the on-deck circle. He'd love to see some runs on the board before he goes back out to the pitcher's mound. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that's on the inside corner for a strike.
All right, Scotty. Hey, boy, not yours. Leave that out there.
O'Donnell back to the set. And now a 2-1 pitch. It's sent on the ground to shortstop. And a good throw to first base by Ian White gets the out that ends the inning. And so Rockland able to dig their way out of a big jam. Milford loads the bases with nobody out, but they fail to score, and Post 59 has stranded 5 runners through their first 2 innings. We will move on to the bottom of the second. It is still scoreless here on day 2 of the Massachusetts Legion State Tournament right here on Milford TV. A frustrating start to this game for Milford Post 59. 2 runners in scoring position in the first inning. The bases loaded with nobody out in the second inning, and yet still a 0 on the scoreboard. Evan Cornelius back out to get the home half of the second inning started, facing the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Rockland lineup: Spencer Merrick, Jake Schulte, and Tad Kavanaugh. A couple of quick strikes pumped in to Spencer Merrick, who's had an active game so far behind the plate. He's made some good plays. He's thrown out a runner trying to advance. Let's Lets that pitch go for a ball. This is a Rockland lineup that was able to spring to life on day one of the tournament, scoring 8 runs against Greenfield, and now a ball driven in the air out to left field. Twisting around out there is Paliuka. That ball lands for a hit, and it will be extra bases for Merrick, who cruises into second base. Bit of a circuitous route for Paliuka out in left field, ended up getting caught twisting and turning, and that ball ended up over his head, hopping off the ivy out on the left field fence. And so a leadoff double for post 147 ahead of the right fielder Jake Schulte. He takes a look at strike one. Cornelius last pitched during Milford's Zone 4 playoff run. That was a week ago now. In the first game against Shrewsbury, Cornelius went 4 2/3 innings in that game, allowed 6 runs, 5 earned on 8 hits, walked 3 and struck out 6 against that tough Shrewsbury lineup. That ended up being a 6-5 loss for Milford, their only loss in their zone playoff run. Gets a quick strikeout here, meanwhile, against Schulte. That's his second strikeout of the game. Merrick remains at second base now with 1 down as the left fielder Tad Kavanaugh climbs in. Lights on here at Pheno Field. Sun starting to fade off in the distance as this ball is sent back up the middle out of Cornelius's reach, but it's backed up by Jarrett, who slings it on to first to get the out. On the play, Merrick advances to third base, but with now 2 down. The out goes 4-3. And that leaves the inning in the hands of the Rockland shortstop, Ian White. Swings to the first pitch and lines it to the backstop. No balls and 1 strike. Cornelius now trying to pitch around a leadoff double. That was what his counterpart Aiden O'Donnell was able to do in the top half of this inning. Pumps in a strike. That brings the count to 0-2. Merrick leads away off of third base. Here comes the 0-2, and this one is sent to the backstop. Still an 0-2 count. Plenty of fans enjoying this game behind the plate. Also a lot of the State Legion personnel positioned behind the plate as well, along with the Department Championship Trophy. One of these teams in this tournament will walk away with that hardware. Here's another 0-2 pitch and another foul ball to the backstop. White pelting the chain link in this at bat, still down 0-2. We will start to bring some updates on the earlier activity on the day. Next inning, first and 0-2. That drops low. Did the batter go around? No. Lee applying the tag just for good measure. It is now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And Cornelius ready with another pitch. This one sent in the air down the right field line in foul territory. Dante Pavone full speed into foul ground, but he can't get there. White making Cornelius work here. He's now up to 23 pitches. Trying to finish off this bottom of the second inning. Back into the windup, another 1-2 pitch and a pop-up. See if this one is playable for Pavone to the warning track. He reaches over, and that is out of play.
A little quicker on the bat.
Good effort from Pavone at first base on those two foul balls, but neither were within his grasp.
Come on, Evan. One more.
Cornelius shakes off the first sign from Lee, now readies for another 1-2 pitch, a sharply hit ball on the ground right to Cam Jarrett, and he sends the throw over to first base in time to get the out that retires the side. So Rockland with a leadoff double, but they strand a runner in scoring position, and we are done with 2 innings now here at Pheno Field. It is still Milford nothing and Rockland nothing. Stay tuned to this coverage of the Massachusetts Legion Baseball State Tournament here on Milford TV. As we start the top half of the third inning, we see a new pitcher on for Rockland Post 147, so Aiden O'Donnell's day is done. He lasted 2 innings, allowed no runs on 4 hits. He did not have a walk or a strikeout. He hit a batter and wriggled out of a couple of different jams over those early innings. He is replaced by Shawn O'Donoghue. Another right-handed arm facing Evan Cornelius, who sends a chopper over to third base. The throw from Rogers to first is in time. Cornelius now 1 for 2 on the day. Aiden O'Donnell threw 38 pitches, and so again, as we keep track of pitch counts here throughout the tournament, that will mean that should Post 147 continue on deeper into the tournament, O'Donnell will need just a day of rest before he can come back into the fold. And so O'Donoghue now facing Dante Pavone. Had a base hit back in the first inning. Milford had 3 straight singles in the first, but mixed in between was a costly base running miscue from Scott Paliuka. Here Pavone sends a ball out into left field, sinking quickly. It's down out of the reach of the diving Tad Kavanaugh, and that rolls past him all the way to the fence. As Pavone motors around the bases, he will make his way to third, takes a turn, but will hold there. It looked like Kavanaugh got his glove on that ball, but it bounced away from him and then rolled all the way to the fence. And Pavone winds up at third base. Another opportunity presents itself here for Milford now with a runner at third base and nobody out. We'll see if Cam Jarrett can finally drive in a run here for Post 59, who have been knocking on the door since this game started. So we'll put that in the books as a triple for Pavone. We'll see ultimately how the official scoring goes. Ground ball hit to short here off the bat of Jarrett with the infield drawn in. Pavone stays put at the third base bag, and Jarrett is out 6-3. And so that is out number 2 in the inning. Noah Curley now at the plate. He doubled his first time up. So Milford now with 5 hits in this game, 2 for extra bases. Still have yet to score. As that pitch will clip Curley. Looked like that might have gotten him off the knee. He jogs down to first base, looks to be fine. Second hit batter for Rockland pitching.
Come on, Andrew.
And so now a chance for Andrew Gaughan. He was hit by a pitch last inning. That was with Aiden O'Donnell, the starter, still out there. Runners at the corners for Milford with 2 outs. And a pickoff check over at first base. Bit of an awkward dive back into the bag for Curley, but he gets in there. double up on pickoff plays at first. This one gets away from the first baseman, and in to score from third base comes Pavone. Meanwhile, Noah Curley's going to wind up at third base, as it took Rockland a long time to dig that ball out down the right field line. And so that is how Milford finally gets on the scoreboard. O'Donoghue decides to double up on pickoff plays to first base. That throw not a good one, and Milford will take it. They'll take a 1-0 lead. And so it is now Curley, the runner, at third base. The third error for Rockland, this one on the pitcher. 2 balls and no strikes now on Andrew Gaughan. And now this ball hit over towards third base. In tight was Rogers. Easy throw to first base. Gets there in time to end the inning. And so thanks to the errant throw over to first base, Milford's finally able to break through for a run. They do strand another runner at third base. They've stranded 6 runners through the first 3, but they do lead now by a score of 1-0 as we move on to the bottom half of the third inning. When we return next, stay with us here on Milford TV. It is Milford now with a 1-0 lead here over Rockland Post 147. Evan Cornelius getting the bottom of the third inning started as he faces batters 8, 9, and 1 in the Rockland order. Shane Daly leads it off. 1 ball, 1 strike count on the Rockland first baseman. So Milford getting an unearned run in the top half of this inning on a throwing error on a pickoff play to first base. A bizarre way for Milford to finally break through on the scoreboard, given all of the opportunities they've had through these early innings. Cornelius ready now with a 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Makes quick work of Daly for the first out here in the third inning. That is strikeout number 3 in the outing for Cornelius. Milford for the second straight game with a all Milford battery. Last night it was Mario Lee pitching to his brother Keith. Now current Milford High School teammates Cornelius and Lee. That familiarity has really worked well with this pitching staff all season long. Keith Lee's done a great job handling these pitchers. He's done a lot of the work behind the plate. One ball and 1 strike now on the number 9 man. And so it is Shawn O'Donoghue now in this number 9 spot. So we never did see Aiden O'Donnell at the plate. He was slotted into this number 9 spot, but only lasted 2 innings on the mound. And now this ball sent down the right field line foul and off towards the crowd. Cornelius into the windup. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And O'Donoghue able to hold up on the swing.
Come on, Evan, let's go. Road strike.
2-2 now, and this is popped up. Pavone into foul territory over towards the first base dugout, but that is out of play. Into the crowd in the bleachers behind the first base dugout. Bases empty, 1 out deep in the bottom of the third inning. Here's a 2-2 pitch now from Evan, and it's down and away. That runs the count full. Still good energy out of the Rockland dugout. Payoff pitch is swung on and missed. O'Donoghue chasing that pitch, might have been a bit outside, but he takes the 4th strikeout from Evan Cornelius. And it's 2 up and 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd. The winner of this game tonight will move on to a critical game tomorrow with the final 2 unbeaten teams in the bracket. The loser will play in the 2nd game on the docket tomorrow, which will be played sometime around the 4 or 5 o'clock hour. That is all contingent on the weather cooperating for tournament play tomorrow. And for anyone who's taken a look at the forecast for tomorrow, a lot of rain and thunderstorms predicted for the area tomorrow, so we do not know how that will impact tournament play tomorrow. So I would certainly suggest you stay tuned to all of the social media accounts covering the tournament for all of the latest updates. In particular, there is an official Twitter account for the state tournament. You can find that at 22MLST, keeping you updated throughout this tournament. Here's a 3-1 pitch now. It's sent down the 3rd base line, and that kicks into foul territory as Jeremy Aylward, the 2nd baseman, tries to keep the inning alive for Rockland. Aylward grounded out to 3rd base his first time up. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Payoff pitch from Cornelius is swung on and missed. Cornelius strikes out the side in order in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings for Evan. And that concludes 3 full innings of play now from Pheno Field, where Milford leads Rockland by a score of 1-0, as we continue to keep you covered in this 2022 Massachusetts Legion Baseball State Tournament here on Milford TV. One run, 5 hits, no errors for Milford. No runs, 1 hit, 3 errors for Rockland, as we are now into the top half of the 4th inning. Keith Lee leading it off for post 59. 2nd inning of relief now for Shawn O'Donoghue. He surrendered an unearned run last inning on a throwing error that he made himself over towards first base. Two balls and no strikes now on Lee. He reached on a fielder's choice play back in the 2nd inning. And Lee in the driver's seat now, 3 balls and no strikes. Milford has had base runners in every inning so far, 5 hits. They've also had 2 hit batters in the game. And Rockland, on the other hand, has had just 1 base runner. It was on that leadoff double by Spencer Merrick in the 2nd inning. 3-1 now the count to Lee, with Andrew Dennison and Nick Paharic to follow. Timeout granted at home plate. Lee ahead of that pitch. And the count now runs full. A reminder to anyone tuning into the coverage here tonight that we will be on hand for all of Milford's games throughout this state tournament. Broadcasting the games live locally on our Milford TV educational channel, as well as our Verizon HD 2140 channel. And all of our coverage streams live at milfordtv.net, as well as on our Milford TV app, which can be downloaded on any mobile device. Just search Milford TV wherever you download your apps. You can access all of our video on demand content, as well as all of our live coverage right from your mobile device. A leadoff walk for Keith Lee. As now Andrew Dennison comes to the plate. Andrew takes a look at strike one. Dennison came to the plate with the bases loaded in the second inning and sent a comebacker to the pitcher. Rockland able to cut down a runner at the plate. Dennison now showing bunt, pops it up and sends it just over the backstop. Ends up bouncing off of one of the canopies for the State Legion group behind the backstop. It's no 2 count now on Dennison. Lee a short lead at first base. They'll check over in that direction. O'Donoghue undeterred by the throwing error last inning, keeping Keith Lee close to the first base bag. Not one of the bigger base stealing threats on the team. Starts and stops at first base as Dennison will strike out swinging. Down on 3 pitches.
Number 2, the shortstop, Nick Paharic.
And that will bring up Paharic. His third at bat of the game, looking for his first hit. He popped out to center field in the first inning and popped out in foul ground to the third baseman in the second. Takes a look at ball one here. Pitch now. That misses outside. Both Aiden O'Donnell and Shawn O'Donoghue, who we've seen on the pitcher's mound for Rockland tonight, have worked at a very deliberate pace. Both have been pitching frequently with runners on. Here's a 2-0 now, and that's high for ball 3. Three balls, no strikes, 1 out in the inning, and a Milford runner at first base. So Milford hangs on to a 1-0 lead. Paharic will take a look at ball 4. He walks on 4 pitches. That'll push Keith Lee into scoring position with 1 out. And so now the third plate appearance for Scott Paliuka. He singled back in the first and then grounded out to end the second inning as Milford stranded the bases loaded. Chops the first pitch foul. Nice snag by the Milford coaching staff. Sending that ball right back into play. 0-1 on Paliuka. 24 pitches now for O'Donoghue since entering the game. And a line drive here for Paliuka into the right center gap. It's down for a hit. They'll wave Keith Lee around from second base. The throw is cut off as Keith Lee scores. It's an RBI single for Scott Paliuka, and that will up the Milford lead to 2-0. On the play, Paharic goes first to third, so Milford now with runners at the corners. Line shot off the bat of Paliuka to drive in Milford's second run. Cornelius now rolls the ball over towards Dante Pavone in the on-deck circle. So 2 runs now on 6 hits for Post 59. A chance for more as they have first and third with 1 down. And a pickoff check at first base on Paliuka. Cornelius offering it that pitch. He pops it up over the backstop and just over the bleachers behind home plate for strike 2. Evan 1 for 2 in the game so far. A single in the first inning, a ground out in the third. Has 3 hits in this state tournament. And a run batted in. He could add to that total with a hit here. Here's the 0-2, and it's sent out to left center field. A long run for Kavanaugh. He's not going to get there. Down for a hit. And Nick Paharic will trot across home plate, so it is another RBI for Evan Cornelius. Back-to-back RBI singles here for Milford as they will now take a 3-0 lead. Paliuka down to second base on the play.
First base, Dante Pavone.
Go, Dante.
Hey, 1 out. Come on, Dante. Hey, Mr. Pavone. Middle. Hey, Donnie B.
And so now here is Dante Pavone. Last time up, Dante sent a ball just out of Tad Kavanaugh's reach in left field. Kavanaugh took the chance and dove for it, came up empty. And the ball ended up rolling all the way to the left field fence for a triple for Pavone. He came around to score on the throwing error last inning to give Milford, at the time, a 1-0 lead. It's now a 3-0 Milford lead. Now an 0-1 pitch and an off-balance swing. There's been a lot of off-speed pitches for O'Donoghue. It's kept Milford off balance. Nothing in 2 the count as a light breeze continues to push in towards home plate. And again, Pavone out in front. First base occupied, so no throw down to first base needed. Pavone out on strikes. That is the first strikeout for Rockland pitching tonight.
Second baseman, Cam Jarrett.
Holds the runners at first and second base now with 2 outs. And Cam Jarrett at the plate. Cam looking for his first hit of the evening. A bluff down towards second base sends Paliuka racing back towards the bag. Paliuka, as usual, runs the bases with the batting gloves in hand. Jarrett holds up on the swing but takes a strike. Jarrett a fly out to right field in his first at bat, then grounded out to the shortstop last inning. Lets that pitch go, it misses for a ball.
Go, Jerry.
We'll see if we can sneak in the start of our tournament updates after this next pitch. Here it comes from O'Donoghue. It's a breaking ball that hits the outside corner for a called strike 2. So we will start once again with Leominster, who again had the early game this morning facing elimination, as did Fall River. And a very similar game played out for Leominster as their first day of the tournament. A 1-1 game that went into extra innings, but this time Leominster was able to grab a couple of runs in the 8th inning on a couple of squeeze plays. And so Post 151 lives on to see another day as they ended up defeating Fall River by a final score of 4-1. So Fall River was the first team eliminated from tournament play. Tough way to go out in extra innings. That was game number 1 on the day. Here's a 2-2 pitch. It's sent slowly on the ground to shortstop, and no play anywhere for Ian White. He took a look towards third base, knew he didn't have a chance to get that throw over to first base in time with Jarrett's speed, so he just eats it. It's an infield single for Jarrett.
Now batting number 15, the right fielder, Noah Curley.
So once again, Milford will have a bases loaded opportunity. 2 outs in the inning, and the 8th batter of this 4th inning will come to the plate in the form of Noah Curley. He swings at the first pitch and chops it foul over to the Milford first base coach. No balls and 1 strike. Scoreboard showing a 2-ball, 1 strike count, but that was just the first pitch in the at-bat to Curley. Next one from O'Donoghue is a comebacker. That might have gotten the pitching hand of O'Donoghue as it rolls out into center field. 1 run in from Milford, a 2nd run coming to the plate as Cornelius scores. A 2-run single for Noah Curley. A comebacker that just snuck past the pitching hand of O'Donoghue, and Milford is now going to take a 5-0 lead. And so after a frustrating start to the day at the plate for Milford, the Bats having more success here in the 4th. Two big RBI for Noah Curley to make it a 5-0 Milford lead. Now the 9th batter of the inning at the dish. Andrew Gaughan, first pitch swinging, sends a pop-up out into center field. Boostrom at first with the arms out, but able to stay under control, makes the catch for the out that ends the inning. But Milford is able to plate 4 runs in the inning. And as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, it is now Milford 5 and Rockland nothing on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the Massachusetts Legion State Tournament here on Milford TV. Milford now with 5 runs on 9 hits in the game. A big 4th inning as they score 4 times. And a bigger lead now for Evan Cornelius to work with. He had a hit and drove in a run as part of that 4th inning rally. Has been very good on the mound so far, has allowed just 1 hit through his first 3. Now 1 ball, 1 strike count on the first Rockland batter of the inning, the number 2 hitter and 3rd baseman Henry Rogers, batting 0 for 1 on the day. Two balls and 1 strike. The next pitch from Cornelius is low for ball 3.
Come on, Evan, bear down.
Evan struck out the side in order in the 3rd. Did have a long wait between innings with the offense going on a run in the top half of this 4th inning. Now deals in a strike to fill the count. Rogers up now, Sean Boostrom and Spencer Merrick to follow. And a ball hit hard down the first base line in foul territory. A comfortable evening here at Pheno Field. It has been relentless heat for the last week here in the area, and especially for these first 2 days of the tournament. As this pitch is sent foul off the backstop. No doubt the daytime games throughout this tournament have had a much different feel, but a nice breeze here cooling the fans off, and especially the personnel that have been here throughout the day working so hard to keep this tournament running smoothly. Again, you can't say enough about this Post 59 organization, how well this tournament has been run so far. Here's another 3-2 pitch, and that is in for strike 3. No argument from Rogers. He will take a seat. Strikeout number 6 for Cornelius.
Coming to the plate, number 21, the center fielder, Shawn O'donoghue.
And so if you are in the Milford area, still 3 more days of tournament play ahead. If you have not yet made your way out to Pheno Field, we highly encourage you to check out a game in person, as the bunt is popped up just out of Cornelius's reach, but a barehanded play for Gone makes another spectacular play on the infield for out number 2. Cornelius raced off the back of the pitcher's mound, nearly caught that ball in the air. It was just out of his reach, but Andrew Gone charging in, made the play on the bare hand and a good throw to first base. More outstanding defensive work at third base for Andrew Gone. So Shawn Boostrom out on the 5-3 ground out. Base is empty now with 2 down and a first pitch strike in to the catcher, Spencer Merrick. Oh, 0-2 the count. The base is empty here for Rockland. Merrick, the only member of this Rockland order to reach base against Cornelius. Trying to check the swing on that 0-2 pitch. He was able to check it. A double for Merrick to lead off the second inning, and that has been it so far for Rockland. And since then, it has been 8 straight batters retired for Evan Cornelius. Here is the 1-2 pitch, and that skips past Lee's glove. And the count goes to 2-2. 56 pitches now in the outing for Cornelius. Back into the windup, the 2-2 pitch, and it's sent down the right field line in foul territory, and that will make its way over towards the Milford bullpen. Past the long line of lawn chairs down that right field side. Still a 2-2 count. Cornelius ready with another pitch, and it's off the outside edge. Good take by Merrick. And it's now a full count. Jake Schulte on deck, should we get that far. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. 2 Ks in the inning, another 1-2-3 frame for Cornelius. And that finishes off 4 full innings here on this nightcap in the state tournament. Milford on top of Rockland by a score of 5-0. Stay with us on the coverage here on Milford TV. Some changes for Rockland. We'll get to them as this top half of the 5th inning goes along. The third pitcher for Rockland now into the game. It is Ian White. He moves in from shortstop to take over on the mound. Get you the corresponding defensive changes in just a moment. Looks like some considerable shuffling around defensively for Rockland. Right now, it appears that Shawn O'Donoghue, who had pitched the last 2 innings in relief, is now out in center. Keith Lee, meanwhile, leading off the 2nd straight inning. He started the 4-run rally last inning with a walk. Up there now with a 1-ball, 1-strike count facing Ian White. Head now 2-1. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball in for a strike. And now a foul ball hit right to the backstop to keep it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So right now around the infield, still have Spencer Merrick behind the plate, or perhaps not. Looks like it is indeed still Merrick behind the plate with Rogers at third, but it's now Jeremy Aylward who moves from second base to shortstop. Tad Kavanaugh in from left field to take over at second base, with Shane Daly remaining at first base. So a different outfield alignment as well, with O'Donoghue in at center field. We'll try to spot a uniform number for the new left fielder. But in the meantime, Ian White enters the game and gets a strikeout of Keith Lee to open the top of the 5th. So now Andrew Dennison at the plate. Andrew looking for his first hit of the night and his first hit of the tournament. He went 0 for 3 yesterday, and instead he will get hit as he takes that one off the shoulder. That is now the 3rd hit batter for Rockland pitching, and it puts excellent speed on the bases at first base as we go another time through the Milford order. And meanwhile, a little powwow going on. All 3 umpires coming in to talk and perhaps trying to figure out if that ball hit Denison's bat, but they will keep Andrew at first base, so it does go as a hit by pitch. And so now Nick Paharic will dig in. And immediately they check on Denison over at first base. And now this ball hit well out to left field. Twisting around out there is the left fielder, able to make the catch. Paharic driving that ball, but not quite out of the reach of the left fielder, and that will be out number 2. Still couldn't quite spot a uniform number out there in left field, so we'll try to get that updated outfield alignment as soon as possible. Scott Paliuka now at the plate. Scott drove in a run as part of the rally last inning. He is now 2 for 3 on the evening, as White tries to keep Denison close at first base now with 2 down in the inning. Runner takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw down to second base is in and out of the glove of Aylward. So a stolen base for Denison to get himself into scoring position. It's an 0-1 count on Paliuka. Now a chopper, and again a barehanded attempt by the pitcher, and now The ball rolling towards Kavanaugh at second base. He has no play, and really dangerous there for Ian White. Trying to make the play with the bare hand, and an instinctual play
Now batting number 13, the pitcher,
on the mound,
Evan
and
Cornelius.
the end result, an infield base hit. Really nothing that Kavanaugh could do at second base after that ball got past the pitcher. So an infield single for Paharic. Now runners at the corners for post 59. And a chance here for Cornelius to do more damage. Evan is 2 for 3 with a run batted in and a run scored. 1-0 pitch inside. Pitches in this inning so far for White, the third pitcher utilized by post 147. Sends that one off the outside part of the plate. Now 3-0, pitching carefully to Cornelius. That infield single was for Paliuka. I believe I misspoke a moment ago, crediting Paharic. Three balls and 1 strike. Milford runners at first and third. In the top of the 5th inning, here's the pitch, and a bounding ball hit over towards shortstop, charging it Aylward. The throw to first base is held on to by Daly, and that will retire the side. So Milford strands runners at the corners here in the 5th inning, but they continue to carry a 5-0 lead. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning when we return next here on the coverage on Milford TV. Bottom half of the 5th inning, Evan Cornelius sending a fastball past the swing of Jake Schulte. Schulte, Kavanaugh, and White, the 3 batters expected in the 5th. Schulte started the game in right field, but as we've been trying to go over the defensive changes for Rockland that took place in the top half of this inning, we found that Schulte had moved from right to left field, so he made that running grab out in left field to deny extra bases to Nick Paharic. Now at the plate with a 1-2 count. Takes that pitch high. 63 pitches now in the game for Evan Cornelius as he starts his 5th inning of work. Now a swing and a miss. Schulte strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. Takes with him the 8th K of the evening for Cornelius.
That brings up number 10.
Cornelius has struck out 5 of the last 6 batters he has faced. Beg your pardon, 6 out of the last 7 batters he has faced. Tad Kavanaugh now at the dish. Kavanaugh moved from left field to second base as part of that carousel of defensive players last inning. He finds himself ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Kavanaugh grounded out to second base his first time up. Tries to check the swing but takes a strike. Cornelius with the next pitch, swung on and missed. Kavanaugh chasing an elevated fastball. These Rockland hitters have had a tough time catching up to the velocity for Cornelius. We know he can get it up close to 90. And gets a wave and a miss here for strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Evan Cornelius. It was going to be a tough act to follow on the mound for Milford tonight after the masterful performance by Mario Lee last night, but Cornelius providing a very worthy sequel here tonight. 4 2/3 shutout innings so far, just 1 hit and 9 strikeouts. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now on the number 7 batter, Ian White. Started the day at shortstop, then took over on the pitcher's mound in the top half of this 5th inning. Here's the pitch. In for strike 2. These Milford fans want to see another K. The base is empty. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Cornelius back into the wind. Here is the pitch. And instead it's a chopper back to the mound, snagged by Evan. He fires to first base for the out that ends yet another 1-2-3 inning for Cornelius. 12 straight batters set down by the Milford starter. And we have played 5 full now from Pheno Field, where it continues to be a 5-0 Milford lead on top of Rockland on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball in the Legion Baseball State Tournament here on Milford TV. More new faces on the field here for post 147 as we begin the top half of the 6th inning. The new first baseman is Jacob Centrella. A new second baseman as well for Rockland as Garrett Fisher takes over at second base. Shawn O'Donoghue, who had remained in the game defensively in the outfield, is now out of the game, so it appears that that Jake Schulte has returned to right field, with Sean Boostrom now back in center, and Tad Kavanaugh, I believe, is back out in left field. And so we can tell you for certain that it is Dante Pavone leading off this top of the 6th inning for Milford, leading this game 5-0. Milford with 5 runs on 10 hits. Ian White back out on the mound for his 2nd inning of relief, racing into foul territory. That ball drops just in front of the first base dugout, but out of the reach of pitcher, catcher, and first baseman. Dante Pavone working on a 2-for-3 day at the plate, a single, a triple, a run scored. And ready now to see a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch, and this is looped foul over the bleachers behind home plate. Pitch skipped in, it goes to the backstop, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of action in this game. We haven't had a chance to continue our updates from earlier today around the tournament. We'll let you know that Leominster was able to defeat Fall River in an elimination game this morning in extra innings by a final score of 4-1, as that ball is off the nub of the bat for Pavone. He ends up out at first base, and I think Dante Pavone will take that, as at first it looked like that might have gotten him on the hand, and that might have done some damage. But apparently hitting right off the nub of the bat out into the left side of the infield. The out recorded, Pavone back to the dugout, and now Cam Jarrett stands in for his 4th plate appearance. The second game of the day featured Milford's opponent from last night, Morissette, post 294, taking on Greenfield. Morissette held a 3-2 lead in that game all the way until the top of the 7th inning. But Greenfield was able to push across 2 runs in the top of the 7th to take a 4-3 lead, and they would take the game by that final score. And so a comeback victory in the 7th inning for Greenfield leads to elimination for Morissette. So Fall River and Morissette, the teams eliminated from tournament competition today. Greenfield lives on to tomorrow. As the 1-2 pitch comes inside to Jarrett, evening the count. And so that leaves the other winner's bracket game, which preceded Milford's game tonight, and that one was not a close one. It was a mercy rule victory for Franklin over Beverly. 13-2 was the final score in just 5 innings. So Beverly will now face elimination tomorrow. Franklin remains unbeaten heading into day 3. They will face the winner of this game here tonight. As Jarrett now sends a bounding ball back up the middle, snagged by the second baseman. Airmails the throw to first. Jarrett safe. He will move down to second base as the ball continues to roll around in foul ground. Jarrett will remain at second base. So Garrett Fisher gets his first defensive chance of the game. Tried to send that throw across his body, sent it over the head of Centrella. So Jarrett reaches on the single and will take second base on the throwing error, and that is the 4th error tonight for Rockland. As we'll have a conference now on the pitcher's mound. And so if the score remains where it's at right now, Milford will move on as one of the last 2 unbeaten teams in the tournament. They would take on Franklin. And meanwhile, it looks like we'll have another pitching change here for post 147. And it's going to lead to more corresponding defensive changes here. So we will take a quick pause here on the broadcast. We'll let you know the new pitcher on for Rockland when we come back next. It is a 5-0 lead for Milford. We'll have more in this top of the 6th inning next. Stay with us here on Milford TV. It has been rapid fire pitching and defensive substitutions for Rockland through the middle innings of this game. Looks like we finally have a handle on all of the changes. First, we'll start on the mound. Garrett Fisher, after a brief cameo at second base, now moves on as the 4th pitcher of the night for post 147. And so let's go through the current defensive alignment now for Rockland. It is Spencer Merrick behind the plate, Henry Rogers at 3rd. Ian White now returns to shortstop with Jeremy Aylward back at 2nd, and Jacob Centrella at first base. And in the outfield, left to right, it is Tad Kavanaugh, Sean Boostrom, and Jake Schulte. So Ian White ends up lasting an inning and a third on the mound. Allowed 2 hits, struck out 1, hit a batter. He is responsible for Cam Jarrett at second base. And you have to imagine that Coach Costantino for Rockland has really been keeping a close eye on the pitch counts of all of his arms used tonight. It's been almost the equivalent of a bullpen day here for Rockland, trying to keep everybody in good standing to be able to return later in the tournament. So Fisher on now, a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Noah Curley. Now slaps this ball down to first base. It's grabbed by Centrella. He takes it to the first base bag for the out. It's the 2nd out of the inning. Goes 3 unassisted on the plate. Jarrett advances to 3rd base.
That brings up number 8, 3rd baseman Andrew Gahn.
And So now Andrew Gaughan up for the 4th time. He has been hit by a pitch. He's also grounded out to third base and flown out to center field, but has also played sparkling defense at third base. Tonight, throughout this tournament and throughout the season, it has been eye-opening, the plays that Gaughan has been able to make at third base. And he's going to wear this pitch. It's the 2nd time tonight that Gaughan has been hit. So Gaughan has now been hit twice. Noah Curley's been hit by a pitch. Andrew Dennison has been hit by a pitch. It's been some wildness throughout this Rockland staff. We've seen 4 arms now. Aiden O'Donnell for 2 innings. Shawn O'Donoghue for 2 innings. Ian White for an inning and a third, and now Garrett Fisher. Fisher will now face Keith Lee with runners at the corners and 2 down. Deals in a first pitch strike. The runner at third base, Jarrett, is the responsibility of Ian White. Sharply hit ball to shortstop, grabbed on the backhand by White. He'll flip to Aylward at second for the out that ends the inning. So Milford will strand 2 more base runners. That is 12 runners stranded on the bases in this game for Milford, but they continue to be in control on top 5-0. We'll move on to the bottom half of the 6th right after this. Stay with us on the coverage here on Milford TV. 5 runs, now 11 hits, no errors for Milford, no runs, 1 hit, and 4 errors for Rockland. We are now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Evan Cornelius, 73 pitches deep into his outing, fires ball 1 high to the number 8 hitter in the Rockland lineup. Ball, 1 strike count. It is Jacob Centrella now up for the first time since taking over at first base for Shane Daly. Daly had been 0 for 1 with a strikeout. One-two pitch, and that's in for strike 3. So there is the 10th strikeout of the night for Evan Cornelius.
Now batting number 4, Garrett Fisher.
Evan has now struck out 8 of the last 10 batters he has faced. Rockland has only managed 2 balls in play since the 2nd inning. And their only base runner came on a leadoff double in the 2nd. It is now the number 9 spot in the Rockland order, which is now occupied by Garrett Fisher. Fisher started at second base. He came in to the game defensively in the top half of this inning at second, and then after Ian White retired the leadoff batter and gave up a single, he came on to pitch. Now sends a bounding ball up the middle. Rangy play for Paharic right by the second base bag, and a good throw to first gets Fisher for out number 2.
Now at the plate, number 2, Jeremy Aylward.
And so that will send us back up to the top spot in the batting order in Jeremy Aylward. Aylward has flipped around from second base to shortstop and then back to second as this game has gone on. A lot of moving parts for Coach Jay Costantino. Pitch misses outside to Aylward. Jeremy, in 2 at-bats, has grounded out to third base and struck out. Of the original starting lineup for Rockland, the only batter that has not struck out at least once against Evan Cornelius is Ian White. Aylward, a strikeout victim back in the 3rd. He now sends that ball to the backstop to bring the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cornelius about to throw his 85th pitch of the night. Here it comes. And it's sent on the ground towards second base. Jarrett has it. Easy toss to first base. And another low-stress inning for Evan Cornelius. His 4th straight 1-2-3 inning. Just continues to deal here on the night. Cornelius has been terrific. And Milford will carry a 5-0 lead into the 7th inning, which will begin right after this. Stay with the coverage here on Milford TV. For any of you keeping score back at home, I'm happy to report that Garrett Fisher remains on the mound for another inning of work for Rockland. The defensive alignment remains the same as we begin the top half of the 7th inning. Milford leading Rockland by a score of 5-0. Andrew Denizen leading off the inning for Milford, and then it'll be Paharic and Paliuka. As Denizen quickly goes down on strikes. And so I might have spoken too soon about that defensive alignment, as it appears that Johnny Ryan has now taken over for Spencer Merrick behind the plate. The base is empty now with 1 down, and another plate appearance for Nick Paharic. Has been hitless so far tonight. He did reach on a walk in the 4th inning and scored one of Milford's 4 4th-inning runs. That is where Milford gained their separation, scoring 4 out of their 5 runs in the top half of the 4th inning. Milford 3 defensive outs away from moving on to day 3 of the tournament as one of the final 2 unbeaten teams. I think at this point, if there's going to be 1 point of emphasis in between games for Coach DeVito and the rest of the staff, will be taking advantage of opportunities with runners on base. As Paharic now lines this ball out into left field, sinking quickly down for a hit. And so there is the first hit of the game for Nick Paharic, on base now for the 2nd time. Milford has left a dozen runners on base in this game, and early on in particular, a lot of frustration. Bases loaded opportunities with runners in scoring position, and as they get deeper in the tournament, it's going to be pivotal to take advantage of those chances, especially early on in games. Paharic aboard at first base now, ahead of Paliuka, who jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Scott tonight has singled, grounded out, singled to drive in a run, and then reached on an infield base hit, so a 3-for-4 day with an RBI and a run scored for Paliuka. A nice night out of the number 2 hole. Looking to reach base for the 4th time as he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. With Evan Cornelius lurking on deck, that pitch not close. Paliuka reaches on the walk, and we will see a pinch runner here for Paliuka as Shawn McGee, Milford High School student, pops out of the dugout for pinch running duties.
Pinch running is Shawn McGee.
Runners at first and second with one out. Milford looking to tack on a couple of insurance runs. As Fisher now faces Evan Cornelius, who has been a star tonight at the plate. He has gone 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. And on the pitcher's mound has pitched 6 innings of one-hit shutout ball with 10 strikeouts. There have been seasons of Milford Legion baseball where we haven't had a lot of Milford High School contributors on the roster, as this pitch gets past the catcher to the backstop and both runners will advance. This season, we've seen a lot of Scarlet Hawks players wearing the navy and gold and contributing at a very high level. Had a Milford High School alumni on the mound last night, pitch a complete game shutout. Cornelius, a Milford High School student, contributing on both sides of the ball. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Milford High School represented very well on this Legion roster this year, along with the surrounding towns as well. Hopkinton High School, Bethany Christian High School, Bellingham, Holliston, Nipmuc, Hopedale, all represented on this Legion roster. Two balls and 2 strikes now, the count on Cornelius. Paharic at third, Paliuka, I beg your pardon, Shawn McGee running for Paliuka at second. Another Milford High School player into this game as the count runs full to Cornelius. There's a 3-2 pitch, and that's going to grab Cornelius. Like it got him high up off the left leg.
That brings up number 14, Dante Pavone.
So that will load up the bases.
Go, Dante.
Come on, Dante. Come on, Dante. Get your pitch and drive it. Let's go.
So that is the 5th hit batter of the game for Rockland pitching. Rockland keeps the infield back with the bases full. And Dante Pavone takes a look at a first pitch strike right at the bottom of the zone. Dante working on a multi-hit game, a single in the first inning, a triple in the third. Up there with a 1-ball, 1-strike count, facing the right-handed reliever Garrett Fisher. Breaking ball stays well outside. Evan Cornelius has already surpassed the 76 pitch threshold, requiring 4 days of rest. So certainly expect to see Evan look to close out this game. With the tournament scheduled to come to an end on Wednesday, that would not allow for Evan to come back again to pitch in this tournament. However, we'll see how the weather plays out as this week goes on, in particular for tomorrow, where there is some significant inclement weather expected in the area tomorrow as Pavone sends a fly ball out to shallow right field. It's the second baseman, Aylward, all the way towards the right field line. He makes the catch. Tagging at third base and coming in to score is Nick Paharic. So that'll go as a sacrifice fly for Pavone.
Now at the plate, number 6, second baseman, Cam Jarrett.
Go, Jerry.
Sean McGee able to advance to third base. Cornelius stays put at first. So runners at the corners now with 2 down. Milford now leading this game 6-0 after the RBI for Pavone on the sacrifice fly. And Jarrett, first pitch swinging, skies this pitch out into shallow center field. Racing in is Boostrom. He's not going to get there. It lands for a hit. McGee crosses the plate. Here comes Cornelius racing around third. He's going to score as well. And Camp Jarrett says thank you very much. A bloop base hit drives in 2 runs. And Milford's going to take an 8-0 lead. Boostrom was playing deep, could not make up the ground. And Cornelius was off on contact. He comes all the way around to score from first base on that bloop hit. And so Rockland, who scored 8 runs in their victory against Greenfield yesterday, have now surrendered 8 in this ball game tonight. Noah Curley now at the plate with a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Lets that pitch go for a ball. Curley has been on base 3 times. He has driven in a pair of runs. Fights that pitch off foul. Rogers will give it a look, but that's out of his reach.
Can I get a couple of baseballs, please?
1-2 on Curley, 2 outs. The lone base runner is Jarrett at first. And this ball sent the opposite way, deep in the hole at shortstop, and Rockland will have to hold on to it. White had to travel well to his right. Could not make a play to first, so an infield base hit for Curley, his 3rd hit tonight. Jarrett down to second, and the inning will continue now for Andrew Gaughan. Gaughan takes that pitch for a called strike. Andrew has reached base twice. It's been a couple of painful ways to get on base as he has been hit by pitches twice tonight. Now sends a bounding ball back up the middle. That is out of the reach of the shortstop, White. Runner flying around third base as Jarrett scores. Curley goes first to third, and meanwhile, Gaughan ends up at second base. So that'll go as an RBI double for Gaughan. Milford piling on now as they take a 9-0 lead with 2 more runners in scoring position. So another 4 spot put up by Post 59. Milford will send their full complement of hitters to the plate in the 7th inning. Keith Lee, the 9th batter to come to the plate. He drives this pitch well out to left center field, and this will be extra bases. Curley scores, Gaughan scores, and Keith Lee winds up at second base with a 2-run double, and Milford is going to take an 11-0 lead. Milford pouring it on here in the late innings. A pinch runner now as Eli Sylvia comes out to take over for Keith Lee at second base.
And at the plate, number 12, Andrew Dennison.
And so now Andrew Dennison, who started this inning, now up for the 2nd time. Dennison now a ground ball to the right side. That is going to sneak through for a hit. And stopping initially at third base was Sylvia, but that ball stays in the outfield, so Sylvia comes around to score, and things have gotten a bit sloppy here as this inning has gone on. It's now a 12-0 lead. So Dennison gets in on the hit party. It's his first hit tonight and ends up driving in a run.
Milford Legion right here. Gentlemen, we got 12. We got 2.
7 runs now in the 7th inning, as Nick Paharic will take another at bat in the 7th. He singled and scored earlier in the inning. 46 pitches now for Garrett Fisher, as it seems that Fisher will finish out this inning one way or another. His 1-1 pitch is popped up and foul ground down the first base line. Catcher going after it, and Johnny Ryan unable to make the play. That allows the inning to continue. 1-2 the count on Paharic. Nick has scored 2 runs in this game. Now a little dribbler gets past the mound. Another tricky play for White. Nice barehanded play, but could not get the throw to first base in time. Dennison moves on to third base as Paharic reaches on the infield single, so his second hit of the inning. Now Sean McGee, who came into pinch run earlier in this inning, now with an opportunity to take an at-bat as he takes over for Scott Paliuka. Taking over for Paliuka, who reached base 3 times in 5 at-bats, an RBI and a couple of runs scored. A 1-1 pitch now from Fisher, and this is driven out to right field. In some trouble out there, and right is Schulte. He can't get there. So more damage done here for post 59.
To the plate, number 13, Evan Cornelius.
That's Rob Eivel out in right field now for Schulte. Got twisted around going after that fly ball, couldn't make the play. Dennison ends up scoring on the play. Paharic winds up at third. What we'll put in the books as an RBI double for Sean McGee, so has a chance to take an at-bat late in this game and takes advantage as Milford now leads this game 13-0. So this has been the largest output of any offense we've seen in the tournament so far. Cornelius now sending a ground ball to shortstop for the out that finally brings an end to the inning, but not before Milford sends 13 batters to the plate in the top of the 7th inning and turns a 5-0 game into a 13-0 blowout. And so Milford will return to the field looking for 3 more outs to keep an unbeaten record here in the state tournament. We'll see if they can slam the door here when we come back next. Stay with us on the coverage here on Milford TV. A series of defensive changes for Milford as we enter the 7th inning, so let's go around the diamond. Eli Sylvia takes over behind the plate for Keith Lee. Andrew Gahn remains in the game at third. Sean McGee is now your shortstop. At second base, I believe, is now Louis Consigli, with Noah Curley now at first. In left field is Tanner Longacre. Nick Koch takes over in center, and Mason Baldick is now in right field. So the only player remaining at their original positions are Andrew Gahn at third base, and the man on the mound, Evan Cornelius, who is working on a one-hit shutout. This ball sent down the first base line, but it is foul. Henry Rogers leading off the top of the 7th inning. 4-post 147. He is 0 for 2. Swing and a miss, and he is down on strikes. So there is the 11th strikeout of the game for Cornelius. With the score getting out of hand, it might start to overshadow the performance on the mound for Cornelius, but it has been magnificent. Sean Boostrom now at the plate, the Rockland number 3 hitter, also 0 for 2 in the game. Sends that one off the end of the bat foul, and Boostrom down in the count 0-2. Boostrom struck out in the first inning, then grounded out to third base in the 4th. Now takes the 0-2 pitch high. So right now, assuming there will be state tournament play tomorrow, we'll start to get to some of the potential matchups after this next pitch. Here comes the 1-2. It's on the outside corner for strike 3. Boostrom takes the seat as Cornelius is now up to a dozen strikeouts with 1 out left to get. So the early game tomorrow would feature
Now batting number 7, Johnny
Beverly against Greenfield. Right now, Milford on track for the evening game for the 3rd straight time to take on a neighboring rival in Franklin Post 74. Rockland would face elimination in the 2nd game on the docket tomorrow. But all of that is weather dependent. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Meanwhile, as Johnny Ryan at the plate takes over in this number 4 spot in the batting order for Spencer Merrick, who is the only batter to reach base against Evan Cornelius tonight. He doubled to lead off the 2nd inning, the only hit, the only base runner of the night. And so now Ryan with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Now 3-1 as that pitch misses low. This will be the 100th pitch of the night for Cornelius, and it is low for ball 4. So something about this number 4 spot in the Rockland batting order.
Now batting number 17, Rob.
So that breaks up a string of 17 batters set down in order by Evan Cornelius. Gives Rockland a 2-out base runner here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rob Ivel now at the plate. Batting for Jake Schulte. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And what a way to finish the night for Cornelius. Matches the uniform number with 13 strikeouts and finishes off Milford's 2nd straight complete game shutout in this state tournament. A complete game 1-hit shutout, 2 base runners on the night. Cornelius was terrific, and the Milford offense piling it on in the late innings, and it all totals out to a 13-0 victory for Post 59. So Milford does remain unbeaten in this tournament. They are one of the final 2 unbeaten teams in this bracket. So that puts them on track for an evening game tomorrow night against Franklin Post 74. The winner of that game would be in the driver's seat in the tournament, guaranteed to play on to the state championship game. But again, all of the action here at Pheno Field tomorrow, very dependent on weather conditions. We do expect a lot of thunderstorms and rain here in Milford tomorrow, so I would highly encourage everyone to stay close to all of the social media accounts tracking state tournament action. We will certainly keep you updated on our social media, so follow along with us at Milford_TV for all of the latest updates. You can also follow along with the Milford Legion Baseball Twitter account at MLB59, and you can also follow along with the official 2022 Massachusetts Legion State Tournament Twitter account at 22MLST for all of the latest updates on the tournament action for tomorrow. We will be back to cover Milford in their Day 3 tournament action against Franklin, whether that's tomorrow or a little bit later on in the week. We will have that game for you live here on Milford TV, so that is when we will have you covered next. But that's going to wrap up this night of coverage here for Milford TV. A huge thank you to our crew on hand for the coverage tonight. Our director is Jack Marino, and our camera operators are Scott Crisafulli and Jerry Maglita. And I am Tim Coette. The final score, one final time tonight, Milford with a 13-0 victory over Rockland. This has been a presentation of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.